Hey everyone, today on People Now, our royal expert is breaking down Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's decision to step back as senior members of the royal family.
Justin Bieber reveals his battle with Lyme disease and chronic mono, and we'll tell you what we've learned.
A sudden shakeup in the world of Real Housewives. Danielle STAUB makes a major surprise announcement.
Plus, the Property Brothers.
Woo!
I had said the most important thing for me is you have to have a sense of humor.
Jonathan Scott reveals what really clicks in his relationship with actress Zooey Deschanel.
Who could stop you?
Only me.
Dirty Job star Mike Rowe honoring good people who are doing great things for their community. He's telling us what to expect in season 4.
That is all coming up live today on People Now.
Hey everyone, it is Thursday. Welcome to People Now. The weekend's almost here, everybody.
Yay!
We're making it. Good to have you back, Diane.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad to be back.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Well, before we get into the weekend, there's a lot going on. We're starting off today with the royal family. Sources telling us that the Queen and other senior members of the royal family were caught off guard by the release of the couple's statement Wednesday announcing their decision to step back as senior members of the royal family. Now, to break all of this down, we are joined by People Senior News Editor ERIN Hill. ERIN, thank you for being here. This is big news, shocking news, even for you. And you watch the Royals very closely. Yeah. How shocked were you by this?
Unprecedented.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Huge stuff. All right, so what is happening here exactly? Like, what does stepping back as senior members of the royal family mean?
Yeah, this is an unprecedented move in modern royal history, so we're still figuring out a lot of things. A lot of questions are still being answered. But if you ask Harry and Meghan what this means to them, is that they will still be supporting the crown, supporting the Queen, but they want to pursue opportunities and endeavors outside of the royal realm.
So, we are even hearing that they may not have given a heads up to the Queen, that she may have been shocked by this news. Talk about the royal family's reaction.
Yeah, and typically when a statement like what Harry and Meghan sent out goes out, what is to follow is one in support from the Queen, from Buckingham Palace. But instead what we got was a statement, kind of like a hold your horses statement. You know, we're still in early stages. We know they are, you know, expressing a desire to go in this direction, but there's a lot to figure out. It's very complicated. That was her statement, and we're also hearing from, you know, insiders, from sources that there's a lot of hurt right now in the palace, that there were discussions going on. This was being talked about in the early stages, but the actual statement that was released came as a shock to the Queen and to other senior royal members like Charles and William.
Which is understandable. Now, is Harry still going to be a prince? Do they have to give up their royal titles?
That still remains to be seen, but as of right now, we don't see them denouncing their titles, not being referred to as Prince Harry or the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. We're seeing them still use that in their signage. They signed their statement, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the site that they just debuted, Sussex Royal. But when it comes down to, the Queen gave them the title. The Queen is the only one who could take that away.
One thing I saw as I was going through my feed yesterday in reaction to this, and royal watchers with a lot of questions are saying, what about that Frogmore cottage that was just renovated?
Yes.
They just moved in not so long ago. Does that have to be given back? How does that work?
Yeah, they just moved in April, just weeks before Archie's birth. They actually addressed that on their site, and they say that they'd still like to maintain that as their residence in the UK. Of course, they also want to establish a residence in North America, but when they're residing in the UK, they'd like to still live there. They do say that it's the Queen's decision. She gave it to them. So again, it comes up to her discretion if she wants to let them still live there or if she'll take that away.
Really interesting.
I know. Now, how does this affect the royal family?
I think this certainly affects the senior royal members. Now it's kind of streamlined to just William, Kate, Charles, Camilla. Those are the senior royal family members. As far as affecting the royal family as a whole, we still have that strong line of succession. We have the heirs in place. We've got Charles after the Queen, William, George. So it doesn't affect the royal family in that way.
One of the most interesting pieces of this is that they stated that they want to become financially independent. Mm-hmm. What does that look like? Does that look like Meghan going back to acting? What does Prince Harry do to chip in? I mean, you know, like, what's his next move?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's something that they really spoke openly about on the site, talking about how they have a desire to earn a professional income, something that they haven't been able to do. For someone like Meghan, that of course be important. She's for decades earning her own income, and suddenly she's just receiving sovereign grant from taxpayer-funded funded money. So yeah, for them to be able to earn their own income, that would then require them to maybe have different partnerships. Certainly companies that want to work with them. Will it be speaking engagements?
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Merchandising,
things like that.
Things like that. Yeah, as far as her going back to acting, don't really see that in the future, but who's to say?
Suits kicks back up with a brand new season.
You never know. Now let's talk about baby Archie for a moment. Will he lose his last name, Mountbatten-Windsor?
Likely no, and that's a last name that's traditionally used by several royal family members when they need a surname within the Windsor line. So that'll still be his title. And at the end of the day, a lot of this is because of Archie. They want to give Archie a normal life. That's part of the reason why they want to be part-time in North America now and to be in the UK as well.
Yeah, but okay, we're thinking about this a little bit. Archie grows up, fast forward a few years, and Archie says, wait a second, I want to be a full-time member of the royal family. Get me back in. Is there a road back?
Probably not if his parents are choosing that route. If Harry is choosing that route for his son, then years later, it's doubtful.
Archie's going to be 16, having to go get a job like all of us did, and he's going to be like, I could have been in the palace. What did you do? Anyhow. All right.
Now, have any sources told you where they might move to in North America? Because we have
wish
guesses.
list.
Wish list?
Yeah. Well, I'm wishing just for LA. I want anywhere in the United States just because I want to.
Definitely on the list of possibilities. If we think about, there are kind of 3 key locations we can think about in North America. Vancouver Island, where they spent their holiday season, said to have loved it. They said it was beautiful. Archie loved the scenery and the nature, so that's a distinct possibility. LA, of course, Meghan's hometown, where her mom lives, several of her friends. We know she misses it and she grew up there. And then Toronto, also in Canada, where Meghan's lived for 7 years. It's where she and Harry first started dating. Certainly a closer plane ride to London.
Also, her BFF Jessica Maroney is in Canada, in Toronto, I think, as well. So there's connection there for her. Anyway, well, we're obviously incredibly interested in following this and seeing what happens. Erin, thank you so much. And before we go, we have to take a look at this. Amy Schumer taking a page out of the royal couple's book, jokingly announcing that on Instagram that she and her husband Chris, they are also formally stepping down from their royal duties. They thank their fans for their support. We wish them all the best. Thoughts and prayers for them as they move forward.
She is too funny. And today is Kate Middleton's 38th birthday. Happy birthday, Kate. Kensington Palace released this new portrait of the royal mom on social media to celebrate the occasion.
All right, let's just say this. Is anybody talking about that birthday now? Interesting timing. Right?
I mean, I don't know, but we want to know where you think Harry and Meghan will end up living in North America. Toronto, Los Angeles, Vancouver, or maybe New York City, who knows? Vote in our People poll and let us know your thoughts using the hashtag #PeopleNow.
We're going to check in on that a little bit later. Again, Erin, thank you so much for being here. Now we move on to a new fashion collab, Fit for Getting Your Fitness On. Check this out.
I find love in everything that I do.
It took me so long to figure what that meant.
These barriers are not going to stop me. Are not going to stop me. Are not going to stop me.
My freedom.
I'm strong and I can be.
Pushing me toward truth.
Whoa.
So dope. Beyonce, y'all, the superstar, is giving fans a teaser of her highly anticipated fashion collaboration, ADIDAS by Ivy Park.
It's incredible, right? Everything she does is so stylized, and I love that this is the way she's launching.
She's definitely a visionary. I mean, Bey is featured looking fierce while she shows off striped tracksuits, beautiful flowing dresses, and powerful footwear.
So in addition to the video, Beyonce also released 2 new photos on Instagram promoting the line. One of her sitting comfortably on a bicycle in maroon and yellow attire. The other of her crouching down in a pleated red dress and sneakers. Beyonce even manages to make sportswear look like art.
There is nothing she cannot do.
ADIDAS by Ivy Park will be available January 18th, and the collection will feature both clothing and footwear, as well as accessories and jewelry. According to ivypark.com, the collection champions the values of inclusivity, community, and diversity.
And if the line of clothing is anything like Beyonce's recent Golden Globes look, we know it's going to be epic, like those sleeves. So gorgeous.
All right, moving on to this. Justin Bieber breaking his silence on his Lyme disease diagnosis. Bieber confirmed the news on Instagram Wednesday. He explained what his life has been like since receiving the diagnosis. He said this: While a lot of people kept saying Justin Bieber looks like blank on meth and etc., they failed to realize that I've been recently diagnosed with Lyme disease. Not only that, but had a serious case of chronic mono, which affected my skin, brain function, energy, and overall health. Really scary stuff. He added, these things will be explained further in a docu-series that I'm putting on YouTube shortly. You can learn all that I've been battling and overcoming. It's been a rough couple years, but getting the right treatment that will help treat this so far incurable disease, and I will be back and better than ever. So we'll be watching for that. Bieber reportedly went undiagnosed until late last year, receiving countless treatments in the process that only made his symptoms worse. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, common signs of Lyme disease in its initial stages include fever, headache, fatigue, and a skin rash. Bieber's wife, Haley, supported him after the news broke on Wednesday, tweeting, quote, "For those who are trying to downplay the severity of Lyme disease, please do your research and listen to the stories of people who have suffered with it for years. Making fun of and belittling a disease you don't understand is never the way. All it takes is educating yourself." That was her statement. We're, of course, wishing Bieber all the best.
Definitely.
And Danielle, now you have more for us in Star Treks.
I do. Okay, we're kicking off Star Treks today with an inside look at one of the most fascinating and rarely seen homes. Kim Kardashian West is clearing the air after leaving fans baffled by a picture of her next to a seemingly empty fridge. So she decided to give fans a tour of her kitchen. Kim started the tour showing off the open-plan pantry, which showcases very organized glassware full of snacks. And of course, what Kardashian pantry would be complete without a frozen yogurt machine?
Okay.
Can you imagine having Froyo whenever you want?
I barely have room for the normal stuff, much less that.
She then moves on to the refrigerators that sparked the confusion, explaining that these are her drink fridges and that all her kids use different kinds of milk.
Okay.
Does your family use different kinds of milk?
I mean, I like a little oat milk.
See?
So,
I didn't think that was
I
too
get it.
crazy.
I get it.
I get
I
it.
just don't have it.
Now that Kim then walks to a much larger kitchen and reveals her food fridge. Watch this.
Guys, I have walk-in refrigerator where we keep all of our fresh organic produce.
That is a grocery store.
I love that she's just doing her own like Kardashian Cribs episode on Insta.
Seriously, that is a grocery store. I love it. All right, Kim shares that she understands why there is so much confusion, seeing as how all of her food is hidden in this back kitchen where the cooking takes place. And if you think the tour is over now, you're very mistaken. Kim walks across the kitchen to show off another fridge stocked with more milk and a freezer full of food, at which point she tells the viewers, "I didn't even show you guys our other freezer." All right, is this kitchen too much?
I mean, honestly, I'm actually asking this. How many people are eating all this food? Like, because things go bad, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there are expiration dates.
Her family's really
no,
big.
it's a huge
and they always have
family.
people coming over. I wonder what their food bill is.
If it's for the whole crew, I get it. That they would need that much space,
Definitely,
right?
I get it too. I'm with you, Kim. All right, Danielle Staub is saying goodbye to the Real Housewives of New Jersey. She made the big announcement on Wednesday night's Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen and left Andy a little shocked. Take a look.
It is time for me to leave and do something that I want to do that makes my heart happy every day. And so I will be never returning as a housewife again.
Never. Wow, she's saying the word. Okay, now I didn't know you were going to say the word never.
Never returning as a housewife again with the Jersey Girls.
Oh, okay, so you're open to New York or something like that. That's amazing.
All right, I love how she kind of left it at like with the Jersey Girls. So where's she gonna go? I don't know. Now Danielle was an original Jersey housewife when the franchise kicked off in 2009, and she has since appeared on and off throughout the past 10 seasons, with most recently being a friend of the Housewives and not a series regular. Danielle says she plans to start her own cooking channel, saying, quote, "Cooking is therapy to me. I find my peace in the kitchen." Danielle's colorful past fueled much of the drama in Jersey's first season, and we all remember this historical moment in the series where Teresa Giudice flips a table during a tense finale dinner. And season 10 of the series airing now has been particularly rocky for Danielle. Just last week, a verbal argument between her and cast member Margaret Josephs turned physical when Danielle grabbed Joseph's ponytail from behind and pulled her towards the ground. The incident left much of the cast against Danielle, except for Teresa, who has stood by Danielle's side. But now Danielle and Teresa appear to have since had a falling out, and the two unfollowed one another on social media. Reasons for their friendship breakup is expected to play out in the rest of this season. Audrey Roloff's baby boy is almost here, everyone. And the Little People Big World alum is expecting her second child with husband Jeremy, and she's anxious to meet her new baby. In a new Instagram post, she showed off her 40 weeks pregnant belly in a mirror selfie, captioning the photo, "Happy due date, baby boy." And then she jokes after, writing, "You can come out now," I'm sure. All right, in the photo, Audrey is seen holding her bump while wearing a black bralette and sweatpants. And the former reality star and her husband, who are already parents to their 2-year-old daughter, Ember Jean, often share news about their pregnancy on social media. Just ahead of the new year, Audrey posted pictures from a maternity photo shoot to Instagram. So cute. Caption, "A remarkable experience," and she concluded the post writing, "It feels unreal that we are already at 39 weeks pregnant and get to meet our little guy any day now. But I was 11 days past my due date when Ember decided to join us Earthside, so trying to manage my expectations." So cute.
Yeah, we'll see
and
what happens.
those are your Star Treks for today.
Congrats to them in advance. Stay with us. You know him from Discovery Channel's Dirty Jobs, but now he is traveling the country honoring people doing great things. Mike Rowe is here joining us live. Plus, it just won the Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture Drama. The 1917 cast sharing with us the challenges that they faced filming this epic war film. Stick around. Here's a wild story getting a lot of attention. The Philadelphia Police Department searching for a man that robbed a pharmacy last Friday by allegedly flashing a note that read, "Give me all the money. I'm sorry, I have a sick child. You have 15 seconds. That's what the note apparently said.
Now, the Philly PD department uploaded this video of the robbery to YouTube, asking for the public's help in identifying the robber.
So in that video, you can see the man enter the store, walk around for a bit before he approached the cash register. Pretty calm. It doesn't look like he has a weapon on him. But if this is real and something that's happening here, you know, people obviously don't know, is it a true story? Is he just trying to get sympathy so the robbery would be easier? But for someone to be pushed to that point is really sad if that's the case,
Very
right?
sad. I mean, I want to keep following this story to find out what ultimately happens if they catch the guy, if it's true or not.
So we'll keep you posted as we find out more on that.
Yeah, anyone with information about this crime or the suspect should contact Northwest Detective Division at 215-686-3354.
All right, this week's People Cover stars are none other than the Property Brothers, and they are opening up to us all about their love lives.
While Drew got married to Linda Fan in 2018, Jonathan just began dating Zooey Deschanel this past September. And it looks like he can't get enough of her, admitting we literally make each other laugh nonstop.
Look, having the comedic connection is important in a relationship.
Important.
He also can't stop gushing over her, which is very sweet. He says, she's smarter than me, she's funnier than me, and she's cuter than me.
I love how he thinks so highly of her. It's so cute.
And at first, I'll tell you that I was kind of not certain about their pairing, but the more I followed them, they seem like a perfect match.
Definitely a perfect couple. All right, Jonathan also told us how Zooey is fitting in with the Scott family. Watch.
It's very, very important for me that the person I'm in love with also gets the approval of my whole family, and whether it was with my mom and dad, whether it's with Drew and Linda and JD and Annalie, absolutely everybody has clicked with Zooey.
Let me just tell you, like, what makes her a rock star. She sang my dad's favorite song to him over FaceTime.
Danny Boy. Yeah.
Danny Boy. She made Linda and me Yorkshire pudding, which is my absolute all-time favorite. I mean, she knows how to rock it.
Yeah.
You've never made me Yorkshire pudding.
I have made you Yorkshire
You've
pudding.
never sang us Danny Boy?
No, I have not sang you Danny Boy. But even, like, she'd pick me up from the airport, and she would have, like, a little, like...
She dealt with LAX to pick you up at the airport?
Yeah, and she had, like, a little, like, picnic basket thing, and we went, and, like, she's a very considerate person, and that's what I'm looking for. I had said the most important thing for me is you have to have a sense of humor. You know, I want somebody who's outgoing and athletic, but also kind, and she's definitely kind.
There you go.
I'm going to predict this right now. I totally see them getting married.
I can see it.
Yes, definitely. Okay, now you can read more about the Property Brothers and their love life in this week's issue of People on Newsstands Friday.
Say please. Thank you. You're welcome. Who could stop you?
Only me, sir.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
Not all heroes wear capes, but Mike Rowe helping them get one. We all remember Mike as the host of Dirty Jobs, but now he has a new show, returning the favor. 4th season coming up. He travels the country, honors people that are doing great things for their community. And Mike joins us now. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for being here.
Great to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
The feel-good hit of the summer for the winter.
Yeah. Now, before we get into the show, let's start with this. There's a Forbes article going around, and we want to ask you about it. The headline of the article is Mike Rowe for California Governor 2022. Where were you when you first saw it, and what was your reaction to it?
I was in the bathroom.
Really?
I was catching up on some reading. I was multitasking in the bathroom, and I'm going through my news feed, and I'm like, You got to be kidding me. I laughed and I immediately sent it to my mom because, you know, we're pretty tight and we share these crazy things. But she said to me, so how bad are things in California? And I said, Mom, this bad. And I sent her the article saying I've been, you know.
Yeah.
It must be flattering, though. You have people that believe in you.
Look, you know, I think people are starving for something that looks authentic. And for better or worse, politics has completely changed, and we're looking now for people who, I guess, who we can trust, or better still, have no reason to lie to us. I don't have any, I'm not running for anything except maybe another season of the show, you know? So I'm out there, I run a foundation that touches on skilled labor and education. We've raised some money and given it away through work ethic scholarships, and I think people look at that and say, you know something, that actually moves the needle. Wouldn't it be great if somebody in office, you know, could do that? But of course, it's way more complicated.
Well, would you ever consider a run for governor of California?
No.
No?
No?
Do you feel like you're more effective in the way you're doing things now with the causes you're supporting?
Politics is binary, right? You get in it, it's real simple. If you're for this, you're against that. When I argue a point, I try and stay in the middle, and I try and use real-world examples of people who have benefited from learning a skill and going to work. That's not a partisan policy issue.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's funny how a voice of reason in that way and trying to kind of use real world examples, it can be wildly polarizing at times. I don't know. It's a weird world.
I mean, look, you're either staying in your lane or you're not. There's no problem getting out of your lane, getting out of your comfort zone, but I think people take comfort. Look, in Dirty Jobs, I was a guy in a sewer. When you're covered with other people's crap, people look at you and go, why would he lie? Right?
Exactly.
And I wouldn't.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense. Perfect example. Like we said, here we go. Let's get into this show, Returning the Favor. It's special. It pays it forward for everyday people doing great things. Why is it special to you? Why is it something that you really wanted to do?
Well, because like a lot of your viewers, my news feed is filled up with bad news. Filled up with angry people, filled up with old friends who have decided you said the wrong thing, so we can't be pals anymore. I wanted to do not so much a show, but the making of a show that celebrates people who are in communities who are slightly better than you and me, doing something that ought to be celebrated. It was very, very, very simple. We just wanted to shine a light on regular bloody do-gooders and then reward them in a way. So they laugh, they cry, we go to a new town, we do it again, and 350 million people have downloaded the thing. It's crazy.
It's incredible.
So good.
Yeah.
Now, what have you learned about other people while filming this show?
Well, really nothing. But what I've been reminded of is that, you know, in the same way Dirty Jobs was like a rumination on work, this is a rumination on decency. And everybody at their core wants to be, it seems like, a good guy or a good woman. They want to, but it's just hard. So when we find somebody who actually gets out of their own way and moves the needle in their own community, it's a reminder that, I mean, look, we have tens of thousands of suggestions every day from people saying, you've got to meet the guy up the street who just mows people's lawns for fun.
Nominating people.
Small
Friends
things.
yeah,
That's right.
Of course, yeah.
And that's really the point of the show. It's not just a show, it's the making of a show. And the show is made by the people who watch it. So it's super engaged.
As you've encountered these people, is there an honoree or a story that really hit you?
Many. We do a lot of things for vets. The PTSD issue is big for me. But there was a guy we met up in Twin Falls named Luke Mickelson who decided that no kid should sleep on the ground in his town. He started making bunk beds. He's delivered hundreds of them up there. After that show aired, 220 chapters evolved around the country.
Wow.
In 220 different cities. He raised over $2 million over a course of a couple of months. No TV show can do that.
That's incredible.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, now it's 2020, and it's the time of the year where everybody makes resolutions and they want to become better people and create better habits. What's your advice for how people can strive to be better in the new year?
Be uncomfortable. Find something that makes you uncomfortable. Start eating foods you don't like. Start denying yourself of foods you do like, just as an exercise, right? Every decent thing that's ever happened to me was the result of wandering a little bit out of my comfort zone. From Dirty Jobs to Somebody's Got to Do It, from Returning the Favor to The Way I Heard It. I just wrote a book that was very difficult, but doing it, right, was important to do. Don't identify the thing you think you love. Identify the thing that scares you.
Ooh, look at this. Just words of wisdom. Like I think you gave like 18 words of wisdom
And
in
you
one
can
answer.
tell I mean it because I'm looking right into the lens in a very earnest way. Right? So you can believe me.
Get in their face.
Believe what he's
Take
saying.
it from the non-governor of California. I wouldn't lie to you.
Look, let's quickly hit on dirty jobs. When you look back at that experience, was there one job that made you so scared to get into that maybe you thought this is going to be terrible or I'm going to be freaked out?
There were
many.
We did 300 right there. That's a brown snake. That's a brown snake in Adelaide, Australia. That thing bites you. You got 30 minutes.
Okay.
And lights out. That guy, Ian Renton, catches them, and you spend a day with that guy and put your hands on a thing that can kill you in half an hour. And you just start to think differently. You move differently. You're out of your comfort zone.
I'd say so, yeah. Taking your advice there, yeah.
Yeah. Opal mines. I'll never go in an opal mine again. 60-foot prospect shaft dug in the middle of Coober Pedy, the Australian outback. They lower you on a bosun's chair. You look for opal between sandstone and soapstone 55 feet down. When you look up, it's a little tiny hole, and all you see is a little piece of blue. If you're claustrophobic...
No, I'm already feeling it right now as I imagine that. Seriously.
I'm good.
Wow. Well, you're doing such great work.
Yeah,
it's good to talk to you.
job.
Thanks, man, and thanks for having me in here.
Of course, and thanks so much for joining us. Everyone be sure to check out Season 4 of Returning the Favor. It premieres Monday, January 13th on Facebook Watch, and you can also catch up on the first 3 seasons of Returning the Favor on the show's Facebook page.
You guys are awfully good.
In your own time, gentlemen. Must be something big if the General's here.
You have a brother in the 2nd Battalion.
Yes, sir.
They're walking into a trap. Your orders are to deliver a message calling off tomorrow morning's attack. If you fail, it will be a massacre.
It just took home one of the biggest awards of the night at the 2020 Golden Globes in a tough category against The Two Popes, Joker, Marriage Story, and The Irishman. It, of course, is 1917.
1917 won the statuette for Best Motion Picture Drama, and it's a World War I thriller starring Dean Charles Chapman and George McKay that tells the story of 2 young British soldiers embarking on a treacherous mission deep into enemy territory. And the stakes here are truly life or death.
So everyone talking about how this movie was shot seamlessly to appear as one continuous take. Basically, it was filmed by shooting really long scenes, and it left the actors with little room for error, making filming a lot more challenging than usual.
I mean, there was a lot of mistakes, but I mean, it was normally the smallest of things that went wrong that would ruin the take, like a prop, you know, or like a little slip or a trip. But actually, in the film, there are mistakes that are still there. You know, like Schofield getting knocked over and Blake slipping over in no man's land. Like that's still in there, but there was a balance of trying to, you know, try your absolute perfect take when you're doing it, but also welcoming a mistake because that made it real and authentic.
Now, we also sat down with the film's screenwriter, Christy Wilson-Kearns, and here's what she had to say about the film's tricky format.
I don't think I realised how difficult the script was going to be to pull off one shot, to pull off a story in real time. And I'm thankful I didn't. My naivety allowed me to just plunge in there and hope for the best.
George McKay and Dean Charles Chapman give incredible performances in the film. We asked them how they prepared for their roles and how they managed to stay in character on set.
I read a lot of diary entries from soldiers just to sort of understand the headspace of a soldier back then. We also worked with a military advisor doing military training and military drills, and just spending time together and sort of bonding and just trying to get through it.
Yeah, I think over time, you know, the characters are different, but I think we're quite close to our characters in ways, and I think just doing it all day, every day, we became close to the characters, and through all the little tiny alterations that were being made on the script and the process, the characters came closer to us too.
1917 is playing in select theaters now and will hit theaters everywhere on Friday, so make sure you check it out.
All right, People's partnering with Katie Couric Media on the digital series called #SeeHerStory. The goal is to recognize female trailblazers throughout the past 100 years and celebrate how they have helped to shape history and culture.
As this year marks the centennial anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote, the series hopes to commemorate such an important time for women in history by recognizing fearless women who have made strides for others to follow in their footsteps.
The last few weeks have highlighted the lives of trailblazers like Mother Teresa, Poppy Northcutt, the first female engineer in the NASA control room, many more. This week, the series showcases actress and political activist Jane Fonda. Take a look.
She founded the Georgia Campaign for Adolescents, which provides sex ed to teens. And in 2005, helped start an organization which advocates for better representation of women.
To watch all of the hashtag See Her Story episodes, head to people.com.
All right, Food and Wine is hosting its 38th annual Food and Wine Classic in Aspen. I would love to be there.
I know.
It's on June 19th to the 21st. Tickets are available now. Maybe we can work something out. I don't know.
Now, the 3-day event will host cooking demonstrations, wine tastings, panel discussions with world-class chefs and wine experts, plus, of course, parties throughout the scenic city.
Yeah, there will be over 80 seminars hosted by culinary stars and renowned brewery and winemakers like Andrew Zimmern, Rick Bayless, Garrett Oliver, many more. Martha Stewart returns for a second year.
I have serious FOMO right now. Now, Food
Even
and
months
Wine,
away.
I know. Still, Food and Wine Editor-in-Chief Hunter Lewis says the Classic is the most important weekend of the year for his team, and he's thrilled to share the best of what's new and next in food and drink.
Weekend passes are on sale now. You can purchase your tickets at classic.foodandwine.com. And you can follow the event on social through the hashtag FWClassic. Check it out. Let's take a look at our question of the day one more time. I want to know, where you think Harry and Meghan are going to be calling home after announcing that they intend to step down from being senior members of the royal family. Where are they going? Toronto.
It's still a little scattered, but Toronto, Vancouver, top.
And then LA, then New York.
Or at the bottom.
So, yeah, after our discussion with Erin, I feel like Toronto's very likely.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like it too. I was hoping for LA.
No, but LA's going to be, if they're in Toronto, they can frequently vacation. I guess our point is we just want to see them walking around LA like actors in like sweatpants, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Now we'll be asking you a new question of the day tomorrow on People Now, so tune in.
Coming up tomorrow, actor Josh Segarra joins us to chat about his new Netflix series with RuPaul. He just welcomed a new baby as well. We'll talk about that.
Plus, we're joined by some pretty remarkable pups who lost tons of weight. You have to see their before and after pics. Thanks for watching, and for now, we leave you with one last thing from this Fuller House actress.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Marla Sokoloff from the Christmas Hotel and the Road Home for Christmas, and this is One Last Thing. The last song stuck in my head is anything from Frozen 2. My kids won't let me stop listening to it. I can't even tell you which song because it's basically like a big mashup in my head. My last date night, oh gosh, my husband and I pretty much go on a date every Saturday night, but I can't tell you where we go. We just sit and talk about our kids. I would say my last big splurge that I made, and this is actually really sad and it shows like that I'm officially a mom, is a vacuum. Black Friday vacuum.